Hey y'all, welcome back to the Healing CEO podcast. I am your host, Keana Spencer, and today's episode is deeply personal. We're talking about what it really means to heal in public, not as a brand, not as a strategy, but as a real woman navigating grief, growth, and divine assignment in real time. Because while the world may see the vision, the clinic, the content, the clarity, they rarely see the cost. They don't see the process behind the progress. And this episode holds space for the duality of being a leader and a human at the same time. This is for those of us walking that delicate line, building something meaningful while still tending to our own. There's a lot that people just don't see when you're a builder, especially in leadership spaces. People expect you to always show up with strength. But healing in public, it means showing up with strength and softness. It means executing a vision with a heart that is still mending in places that no one can see. But what people do see is the LLC, they see the logo, and they see the launch. What they don't see are the quiet breakdowns between breakthroughs, the guilt of slowing down, the grief that lingers even after the decisions has been made. Recently, I returned to a space that almost broke me. A few weeks ago, I returned to my marital home. That place I avoided for so long because I had convinced myself that stepping back into that house would unravel all my healing that I had worked so hard to piece together. Because last time I was there, I was broken. Emotionally, spiritually, and silently. And I just didn't want to feel that again. I had convinced myself that the walls held memories that were just too heavy for my current healing to carry. I truly thought I'd fall apart, but I didn't. I didn't fall apart. I didn't spiral. I didn't shrink back to that version of me that once held that space. I had an unexpected sign of healing. Instead, I stood in it. I took care of what needed to be done on my own terms once I got back to my home. I cried when I needed to. I rested when I needed to. And I regrouped when I needed to. I also had emotional support. And I didn't feel re-traumatized. I felt reclaimed. It didn't even feel like closing a chapter anymore. It felt like progress. It felt like peace. The healing had already happened. I just hadn't tested it in that space yet. But when I was in that space, I passed that test with grace. For me, it was all about having a quiet conversation with God. At one point, I stood in the middle of the house and I prayed. I said, God, I don't want to just survive this space. I want to witness myself in it. I want to feel how I've overcome it. Let me walk through this place as a healed woman, not as a haunted one. And I did. There was no breakdown. There was no need for closure, just confirmation. I'm not who I was, and this house doesn't hold power over me anymore. I also had a reflection moment and said, wow, this is what healing looks like. We often think that healing is loud. We think it's like fireworks and breakthroughs, and sometimes it is, but more often healing is subtle. It's being able to function in a space that once froze you. It's completing a task you used to dread with clarity and calm. It's feeling the emotions rise and knowing it doesn't own you anymore. That's healing, not dramatic, just undeniable. So what I want you to know is if there's a place, a person, a moment in your life that you've been avoiding because you fear it might take you out again, take this as a reminder. You are not the same person who left that situation. You are not walking back into it empty. You are walking into it with restoration, awareness, and power. Healing doesn't always announce itself, but it will prove itself through your response, through your stability, and your presence. So I want to leave you with a leadership pause, a simple question. What have you been avoiding? Not just because it still hurts, but because you haven't realized you've healed. Sit with it this week. Maybe it's not a house. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's part of yourself. Whatever it is, you don't have to conquer it. Just witness yourself in it. And when you do, I promise you'll see how far you've come. Thank you for letting me bring this part of my story to your light. The Healing CEO podcast is about documenting the build, not just the blueprint. If you're building something while you're still becoming, keep going. Your healing doesn't disqualify your leadership. It qualifies it. So subscribe wherever you're listening right now. If this episode spoke to you, I would love to hear your story. Visit our website at solacegrove.org. Send a message or take a moment to breathe in your own growth. Share this episode with someone still navigating healing behind the scenes, because no matter where you are in your healing, you are already further than you think. And you don't have to be fully healed to be faithful. You just have to keep showing up. I'm Keana Spencer, and this is your Healing CEO podcast.